Okay, so we had a little change of plans. I don't know if you have the schedule, but we were supposed to have a break right now. We won't have it now. We'll have it
tonight.
later.
Tonight.
A bit later after Adam. No, it's Dominik. Okay, sorry. I'm bad with names and I'm getting worse. Okay, Dominik Zieliński, is that right?
Yeah. Fortunately, none of you understand Polish.
Okay, I'm getting better with it. He's a lead 3D artist who also worked on this work of mine. His workshop is called How to 3D Generalist. That's weird. I'm trying for you.
Okay,
yeah.
So I wanted to make a presentation about the division between generalists and specialists, but I figured out that I'm going to talk a bit about myself, and I'm going to talk a bit about this work of mine. So it's going to be like a mix of absolutely everything. Just give me a second. Okay, so who am I, and why I chose the path of gamer? So I guess this is like a story back in time to my childhood. I was like enchanted by one video game I saw. It was on a platform called Amiga. I don't know if anyone of you guys actually remember that, but so I come from the time where when you finished the game and there were credits, very few people actually did the game. Usually you had like coding, this person, graphics, this person, and very few games actually had like design even. That came like later in time. So when I was little, I really wanted to do the graphics part, and you know, it was very natural for me. Then okay, then you know, you have this like little pixel, you know, animated characters, and I did them when I was little. And then it's all of a sudden I read a lot of game magazines, and I noticed that you have 3D art appearing on the cover of those magazines. And I thought to myself, oh, how to learn that? You know, if I want to like stay, you know, in your time. So you know, another thing is like, so when I was studying in the Academy of Fine Arts, I actually chose to write a bachelor's degree thesis about motivation, internal motivation, because I wanted to dig into myself to understand why am I like driven to even do this, to do art and games. And you know, I read like psychology books and whatnot, and I couldn't find the answer. But I actually managed to work with the kids in kindergarten. And when I observed the kids in kindergarten, like everything became clear to me. Because little kids in kindergarten, if you draw something, it's not like you draw something to a grown-up person. Like they treat this as something real. And I imagine that I really enjoy making experiences and you know, worlds even. And you can actually create this doing video games. Whoops. Okay, sorry, I went too far. So the crappy games. I spent like I make games for more than 10 years now, and I made a lot of crappy games, and I think you know a lot of maybe some of you can you know sort of have the same feeling as me, and I know that you sort of like. We came here and we feel like really nice because we feel that you guys look up to us, but at least with me, I think you really need to know that I made a lot of crappy games. So like some of the games are, so this is Wolfshanks 1944. So this game was like, if you would go to Polish YouTube and you would write this, it was like, you know, people make fun of it, like you can destroy a tank with a kick. Actually, if you kick that tank, you have one weapon is a sausage, so you can actually throw the sausage and it
sounds fun.
dogs could, you know, run and try to like, you know, kill the sausage.
True stuff, yeah.
Yeah. So this game is and kart racing. So I was doing art for this as well. So I've seen this game actually featured by College Humor. Do you guys know College Humor?
Yeah.
So it's so actually like they played like the worst games on Wii, and actually this was in there. So how do you recover from making crappy games? Well, you don't. It haunts you for the rest of your life, and actually what I decided to do with this is just to make a vow to myself to never make crappy games ever again. So okay, so this is like a few things I do. I do modeling, texturing, like scalping, and all of you know. I'm a generalist artist, so I do quite a lot of stuff. I even do coding. Actually, I started to learn coding a few years back. That's that. Okay, so this is Humphrey Bogart, a hippo, and one of my paintings, just to give you guys an idea of. This is actually quite old. Okay, so I want to tell you a bit about my time at Bit Studios, because I joined the company in 2013, which is at the beginning of this war of mine, and right from the beginning I experienced the culture of the company. And there was a lot of good things about it, and I want to tell you about it. So first of all, so this war of mine is built upon a totally different game. And sorry? Yes, and so this game was supposed to, which is really funny. It was supposed to look like Fallout Shelter. Actually, like we made a game that was very similar to this, even like with colors and stuff like this. And then that idea was sort of scrapped because the management felt that, well, you know, this is a good idea. We could like make a profit on this, but you know, it doesn't have the oomph, you know. So we need to work on something better, and we iterated, and we were like trying to find a better solution to this problem, and yeah, and the idea for this war of mine came, and actually what I was really positively surprised by was the willingness of people, of the management and of the team to actually, well, maybe not the team wasn't really happy about this, but they actually scrapped most of this idea and they replaced it by something else. And this is a big lesson, like that. You know, if you're not going in the right direction, then you shouldn't be afraid to lose whatever you had and start all over again. Okay, so I did the first thing I did at LMB Studios was doing some you know, visualizations of how the game could look like, and this is like ties into the previous question. So this is a part of the graphic of the first image we actually had for this war of mine, and it's still like it has some elements that weren't present in the final game. Like you know, we imagined the game slightly different, but you know, the sign is here. It made it to the final game, so that's interesting. Also, I wanted to show you sort of the art direction that I came up with, and we didn't go with that actually. So I had background with oil painting, and I sort of imagined this game to be to resemble an oil painting. And I'm gonna show you one close up. Maybe this will convey the idea a bit more. So I wanted the light to have an important role in creating the atmosphere, and this is the case. I'm not gonna Google the screens, but of the game, how it was in its final form. But I think that the feeling you have when you see the light, well, in my version, it's like more like sad, calm, melancholical feeling even, but you know how the light is presented in this world of mine is more of like electrifying and shocking. So we went for a bit different feeling there. And you know, so this is also like I said before, this is like this for me. This looks like an oil painting, and the art style we went with finally was resembles more of a drawing, hand drawing, and photography, which is like also an interesting mix. So actually, I don't think this was ever shown anywhere, like other than my computer. So that's something for you guys. Okay, so what are like interesting things I did for this work? Mine was scanning people. So why scanning? So first of all, we were hoping for doing this quicker than we would do modeling. So that's one thing, and I don't think this. But that wasn't like the main reason. The main reason was capturing actually, you know, the sort of even like imperfect feeling, even a bit dirty feeling, you know, capturing the reality of the situation. So we wanted to achieve this, and I'm not gonna go very deep into scanning techniques because we used 2013 technology, and this area, you know, this area of human activity tends to advance really quickly. So my knowledge is, about this is outdated. But I'm gonna show you some images. So this is me. This is Olaf, our character artist. This is what we use to scan people. This is Kinect. We run a program called Reconstruct Me, and we had this very funky turning wheel that my brother custom made, just so that we can do it. Later on, it broke, and we used just a chair with this wooden circle on it, and it worked fine. Actually, I think we have it to this day in the new office. So this is, you know, this is, you can see a bit, you know, what kind of data we got from the scans. Yeah, so like another thing I did was making characters for the game. So the process of actually from this to actually having a character in the game, it's a long process. So you don't even get a model out of this. You get a cloud of points, and then you need to process this into a character. It's a fun process, but yeah, it took a while to make, and it took, you know, the entire figuring out the pipeline took a while. And actually, we made big improvements, you know, just by working on the same thing. So like at first we made a character in like it took us 7 days, and then like I guess it took us around 2 days to from the scan to the finished character. And the thing I did for this work of mine was animation, and so I was responsible for making the animation system. So I'm an old school gamer. Many of you probably, or some people of you here, like worked on Ubisoft games and Assassin's Creed, and that was based on an engine for Prince of Persia. So I'm a big fan of the original Prince of Persia. So I tried to create or you know, like co-create the animation system for this work of mine, so that it resembled the original Jordan Mechner. Any one of you? Okay. Okay, great. Yeah, so I feel like my best contribution to the company was communicating with programmers, and yeah, that was interesting. You know, I have some knowledge of programming, so maybe that makes it a bit easier. But yeah, you know, it's sort of if you're on a generalist, you are sort of like the glue in the company, trying to talk to different people about stuff. And yeah, I think this is like this is what I think like most valuable. Okay, so this is the part of the talk when I would like to you know, switch gears a bit and talk about specialization and generalization, and why even this subject. So a few years back, actually, I felt like I was in a fork in the road. I didn't know exactly what kind of skills should I hone in myself, where should I go career-wise. And at this moment in time, I was just, you know, praying for someone to tell me, you know, just give me a kick in the buttons and just go to that. And that would probably be the best thing to do. But right now, I think, so, you know, I'm down that path, but maybe some of you are still figuring out, trying to, you know, get to know what to do in life. And I'm not going to tell you basically, but I can tell you, I can, you know, shine a bit of light a bit about, you know, the two parts. Okay, so this is a quote from Carlos Castaneda I really like. A path is a path, and there is no affront to oneself or to others in dropping if that is what your heart tells you. Look at every path closely and deliberately. Try it as many times as you think necessary. Then ask yourself alone one question: does this path have a heart? If it does, the path is good. If it doesn't, it is of no use. So the broader context of this quote was actually like, it really doesn't matter what you do in life, as long as you feel that this path has a heart. So, you know, I need to do a disclaimer. There is really no such thing as a specialist or a generalist, but you know, because there is like this broad spectrum of what you can actually be. So I'm just using this as a pointer, not as a real thing, sort of. So yeah, I really like this quote. I found it somewhere on the net. So no matter what you do, be edge of it will be awesome. No matter what paths you choose in your life, they're both fine. So I'm gonna share with you some images. Okay, so this is a graph of a person's skills. This sort of shows where on the scale. This sort of presents a person that has good all-around knowledge, but is not good in any particular thing. So never be that, actually, because you really need to be good at least at one thing. So, for example, this is actually, I think this is better if you just have like one skill that you can hold on to and build the rest around this one particular skill. So, like, a lot of people are a bit like that. I think I feel somewhere on the scale. So, in HR there is a term, it's called like key person-shaped skills, and this is something that I feel it's very good to have that sort of a skill set. Being good in one area and just knowing, having broad knowledge all around the subject. You know, this is why it's T-shaped skills person. Okay, so I researched the subject a bit, and I think I'm not alone in thinking that if you're working for a small studio, then basically you have to be more of a generalist. And you know, on the other side, if you work for a big studio, then they will want something more of a specialist. But is it really? So, for example, right now at 11 bit, the company is looking for a generalist, but the company is like, I know 70 people, 60, 70 people, I don't even know. And it's a medium-sized company, and it's still looking for generalists. And there's still place for generalists actually. So what are they really needed for? So in this particular example, they are needed to build a research and development team for providing the studio with fresh, cool prototypes. Also, I know that companies like Pixar or Supercell work in small teams, and in a small team, you need to have a generalist. So it's not like big companies only hire specialists. But from my experience, there was a time in my life when I tried to find a job in UK, and it was really difficult. It seems like I didn't have the skill in this one particular area that this company needed. Okay, so how does it look at 11 bits? So basically, there is like a growing amount of specialists, but there is still need for generalists, for someone who can swap the tasks they are being presented with, and they can have like different tasks. And during development, you never know what's going to happen, and you never know what kind of thing you're going to need. And you carrying at least one or two people with broad range of skills is well, at least at 11 bit that works really well. Okay, so this is actually, I don't know why I'm doing here. So this is an old photo back in the time where we were working on the phone, and this was mine. And actually, like, people look worried here because there was like, I don't know, maybe a crash or something with the game. And actually, you can see someone playing this war of mine in the background. Okay, so yeah, that slide was sort of like lots of other subjects. Okay, so so what's the dark side of being a specialist and the dark side of being a generalist? So I run into this problem of knowing like too many things and not knowing sort of like forgetting the old skills I had. For example, I don't know if I can like I was really good in animating like 4 years back, but because I didn't use it like very often. I mean, like keyframe animation, not motion capture animation. I don't know if I could do it anymore actually. So like you can't keep up to speed with too many things because like you have a limited capacity. So this is something I didn't know about when I was becoming a generalist. So I'm just putting it out there to feed on your skull if you want to become one. And another thing is like, if you just know too many things and you don't know them very well, then you're not of very much use. But it has another side, like, because sometimes it's really, I'm gonna touch on this. I'm gonna touch on this in a second, but it would be really nice for other coworkers if you knew like just a little bit about other subjects. So, okay, so why does being a specialist suck? So after you teach a skill, then maybe you are able to like you teach yourself the skill for like 5 or 6 years, and the drastic change is between the year 1 and year 2, but there is no drastic change between like year 6 and year 7. Maybe you are able to spot the difference, but a lot of people won't be able to spot it. And the other thing is fatigue. Like, for example, I get bored too quickly to do just one thing, and like maybe that's good therapy. If you're tired with your job, then maybe try doing something else that's related in some way. But it's also, if you're specializing in something, it's very good to like try other stuff. and the other way around is also valid as well. So yeah, I got this. So I was working in UK for like 9 months. It wasn't a very long period in my life, but it's only one thing. I did only characters, and I really improved those characters, and that was like the improvement was like so drastic. Just just focusing on one thing, not doing anything else, it was really good for me at this time. And you can actually train focus, but which is like I have a big problem with that. So what do you get as a specialist from generalizing? So this is really good. Like if you can understand the entire creation process better, you will get coworkers off. It's really like, for example, like I'm a generalist, and sometimes I have to fix things that our character artist did, and it's like I really would love it if he would like tend to know like rigging a bit better than he knows it currently. So yeah, like I wanted to touch a bit on lead roles, like what to do if you want to get one. And this is I don't know, do you know like Robert Kiyosaki books? Maybe Rich Dad Poor Dad. Yeah, so I used to read that, and I think this is a direct quote from that book. Just to know a little about that, like you have this. It's a cliche that a millionaire has his son, and he puts his son in all kind of works in his factory, like from the very dirty works. Oh, you need to work a bit there, to understand the overall process. So that's the mindset this advice is coming from. And another rule like he put in his book was ask for more responsibility if it doesn't pay. So if you're super awesome, then yeah, I think it's good advice actually. Like try to present value to people, and then ask for ask for rewards later. Okay, so this is also interesting because I wanted to touch a bit about the structure of the job market for game designers. For example, in the UK, which is an old market, and Poland, which is a new market relatively, and Bulgaria, but Bulgaria is a different cookie than Poland. There is like, you had a lot of investment from big companies, so like in Poland, for example, for me as a generalist, it would be very easy to find a job, for example, but it's difficult. It would be difficult to find one in an old market, like for example UK. But yeah, it seems like if you're like a specialist in Bulgaria, you should have like everyone should welcome you because you have all those like big companies in here with structures and histories and whatnot. But like in Poland, it's a bit different. We don't have that, and there's like a lot of like indie studios because of that. Okay, that's it. Thanks. Right now, I'm ready to answer like every question you have about this war of mine, because it was too ashamed to ask. So yeah, hit me with something, anything. Do you want me to share more crappy games with you? Like, yeah,
We'll show you crappy games on Sunday.
Sorry?
No, it's a joke. We'll show you crappy games on Sunday.
Yeah, more crappy games.
On Sunday.
On Sunday. Yeah, I'm just...
I have a question, a serious question. Could you specify a little bit more on the process of getting a 3D scan of a person to, a workable thing that you can put in your game? Because
well, I
this
have
keep
information from like some time ago. So
anyhow, yes, whatever.
yeah. So what we did was actually we used the old Kinect to scan a 3D person, which has a camera and it has an infrared camera. So the infrared camera actually gives you information about points in 3D space, and it has a really crappy camera, like the normal light camera, and
then I'll go to the stove.
yeah, so like what we did was we had this camera that was like capturing the image, and it wasn't like, first of all, like they weren't like very good professional scans which were available at the time, but characters in this world mine were like tiny, so we didn't need high quality scans like those scans we had did perfectly. So how the process looked like was we would like set up a computer just like this. We would have this Kinect mounted on a rig, so that it captures the particular area of the person we were interested in scanning at this moment. For example, we separated scans into the head because we wanted some extra resolution on the head, the torso and the legs. So for each person we did 3 scans, and the process looked like we brought to the company a bunch of old clothes and we dressed in them, and like on this turntable we had we just turned around like this to get the data you captured by Kinect, and then we put it into the game.
And it
so
worked.
it worked. So at first, like, to answer your question in a boring, very specific way, it was first captured to this cloud point format, which was then converted to triangles with vertex colors on them, and then we converted the vertex colors into textures. And there was like, it had to go through ZBrush. We had to make a lot of fixes and whatnot, but yeah, overall it
saved a lot of time.
Yeah, but like the feels, man, the feels.
Yeah.
It gave you the really good like realistic feeling that was actually needed for this game, because this would be a totally different game if you had like handmade characters. It would be something different. It wouldn't be this war of mine. It would be something different.
I want to, like, did you come up with the idea, like, did you write the tools, not you specifically, I mean like the studio, did you write the tool to translate the Kinect data into a model? Like, how did you get the idea to go this kind of a getaway? Because I didn't know you can use a Kinect for that.
Yeah.
Well,
Actually, you can. There was a technology in the Kinect at the beginning when you just turn around and it generally scanned you and made your picture into the Xbox.
Oh,
So you can play with V or something. Not V. The Kinect. So you had your own avatar, more or less looking like yourself. So basically, it scanned your face, not the 3D, because it was another program I suppose we used, but it worked. It just took a lot of pictures, like any other way, around our body, and we just made the whole 3D sculpture from that, which was going after all to the ZBrush and other specialized programs to make it good, because it was a rough picture of the body, but it was the body after all. So it saved like I don't know, a day of work.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it saved time. It probably did, but the effect, like if we would use a different tool, then we wouldn't have this photorealistic effect we have for the game. It would be a different style.
Yeah.
It's sort of like, I should have just brought it here and show you.
Yeah.
But, well, so like you had to like be still, because it was like calculating the movement, and whichever part moved, the software assumed was a static object that is like being looked at by the camera. Yeah, so like it's difficult to explain. But okay, so actually, so I got this idea from a friend of mine who's a stand-up comedian, who's like a graphic artist as well, and he like said, "Hey, look what you can do with Kinect! It's super fun!" And I was like, "Yeah!" And at this time I started to work at LMB Studio, and yeah, so like I don't think I had like that much input when it came to the over like artistic feeling of the game, but yeah, I had input when it came to like this technical side. Okay. Oh, okay. There's a question.
Yeah. So just talk about the graphic games period. Was it always a bad experience? Like, did you know they were going to be graphic when you started?
Okay. So there are two types of graphic games. So one type of graphic game is like you know from the start it's going to be a graphic game, and the second type of graphic game is it's just a not finished game that has to be released. So for the most part, I did games that actually were, if they were to be completed, they would be good. And each time I was like, oh, fuck, man, like, but why are we releasing this? Yeah, so that was my experience mostly. But now that right now I have like this note like I can like sniff when the project is going like bad, within a second after working on so many bad projects. So yeah, I'm very very alert to that.
Okay, when you came to Database Studios, you said that they were still searching for the Dominik Zieliński online.
There was a problem.
The Dominik Zieliński online.
Yes.
So is the whole studio? I guess they didn't have a lot of people.
Yeah, it was way smaller, 20 people like working in the games department.
So were they doing anything else, or was it just the period where
So that was the period where Anomaly 2 was being brought up, and the core team sort of worked still on Anomaly 2, and there was this new team like sprouting, being hired to work on this new project, which at that point was still a prototype. Yeah, and it wasn't set in stone what it's going to be, actually. Well, actually, we thought it is going to be a totally different game. It's with like robots and monsters and, a totally different theme.
curious about this period between two games, how was it? Because it's a very uncertain time.
Yeah.
Did you know that now that's not coming as something that you knew? And what's the feeling like? Was there a feeling that you were going to find it?
Well, so first of all, we knew that we have something. So it was like a completely different mindset. We knew that we had something. We knew that we are mildly happy with it, and we knew that we can continue with it. But then there was this urge, like, well, okay, well, let's look for a different idea. And actually, there were a few. And in terms of like, no, I probably won't be able to show stuff to you. But we were like looking for different, even like simplifying the graphics a bit. Like, I worked on the graphical front, not the design front. So, like putting like different elements, like trying new things. This work of mine like was born out of actually like the name of the game at first was like Kosovo. Yeah, so that's interesting. Then it was like the working title, and then we actually gave this to people so that they can play the first prototypes. And people like this is like the power of marketing, because the people like didn't know that this is a game. What is it like? Just if they saw the title, they played the game, they sort of like without the entire backstory, they didn't know what it was. But yeah, it's so in the entire this Core of Mine project, I feel marketing was very important, And usually you think of marketing, like I think of marketing as something pure evil, like spamming people with ads and whatnot. But actually, it was just about creating good experience for the player before he plays the game, and that's like it opened my eyes to how important that is in games. Okay. Oh, yes. Question.
Do you think that being the jack of all trades, master of none, is actually a good recipe for a game designer? And because that way you will be knowledgeable about every skill a little bit, and you could be the missing link between the masters of the trade and
yeah, I think so. This is like my personal opinion, but as long as you have like something that's your favorite thing, like for example, I have a friend who's a designer, and he's like, and he can, if he was to make a game for himself in 48 hours, he would do it. But he's specializing in AI. So as long as you have like, your favorite thing that you home, then like it's fine. Like, go crazy, I think. Does this answer your question? Or this like?
I was just asking if you find yourself being the generalist in the company. So you're like knowing a little bit of everything, but not becoming a master of anything. You could actually find yourself being useful for the company by becoming a good game designer.
Yeah. Well, game design is something so at this point in my life, I decided to not specialize anymore, and this would be like. I know a bit of game design, but not. I don't know if I want to get really deep in there. Maybe like looking from afar and commenting on stuff. But it's something. It's very difficult. It's a completely like I said from before. Back in the old days, when you had games, like they didn't even feature game designers because like it was like, but what do game designers do? Like if you do code, well, yeah, you do code. Well, if you do art, well, yeah, of course you can see art. But what does game designers do? Like it's almost negligible, but it's the most important thing you can do actually in a video game. So are you actually encouraging me to learn game design more? Am I really good?
I'm just asking if being generalist is actually a useful skill for that role.
If game design is
being the generalist, jack of all trades, actually useful for the role of game design.
Yeah. So like I said, like
Yes, it is.
yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
But after all, you will have to specialize because you will not like everything at the same amount.
It's
Yeah.
actually good to know everything a little when you're trying to get a job, because job offers tend to differ from the expectations of the employer. So it's best to be prepared for different expectations from the companies that you're going to work with. It's probably the same thing with concept art. If you're specialized in only one thing, you'll have to be really, really good, almost a master. So the company will see any value in hiring you, because when a company posts a job offer, sometimes they need one thing to be done, I mean vehicles, sometimes they need environment to be done, but then when the project is finished they move along and pretty much came up with something new. So probably you will need to change your focus to something else. So it's better to be prepared for tackling multitasking than focusing on a single thing. I mean, you have to be really, really, really good, almost a master, 5-star specialist to get a job in being focused on only one subject. So I think that if you're a beginner, I think that it's best to at least get familiar in as many subjects as you can to improve your hiring.
At the same time, it differs in the companies because we LMB Studios are still in the company, in the game studio, and right now we have around 70 people maybe, and like half of them or 60% of them are actually in the development. So practically all of us designers in 11 studios are generalists who have very special places in design. Like I have my writing, my web design, and general sound design, but at the same time we are all generalists. We are all game designers, not web designers, not sound designers or such, because the job of ours is needed to be as vague as possible. We have to be, we have to make possible to create the game itself, and the game is really complicated.
It also depends on what kind of titles you are doing.
Yeah.
For example, if you are doing another part of Assassin's Creed, you already know what you need to be specialized in to make that title. But 11-bit Studios is a little bit different case, because we are always trying to develop something new, and that means that you need to be prepared for anything. At one point, the guys are going to be like, hey, let's do a post-apocalyptic game, and you need to do post-apocalyptic things, but after 2 or 3 months, everything can change, so you need to be prepared for that. And that's what being innovative is about, that you need to improvise as much as you can. And being only specialized in one thing means that if you don't know what to do, you need to start learning very quickly. And it tends to be a big hustle. Some industries. So as a company that is always trying to develop something new. For example, if you're making another Battlefield game, there are going to be a lot of references that you're going to find on the internet. But if you're trying to develop something that doesn't exist, you need to really hard improvise. You need to actually come up with some things, even though you don't know how to do. You need to come up with the ideas after, I don't know, a few seconds of briefing. Those are things that you just can't be prepared for. So more you know, the safer we will be. And it depends on the company that you work. If you're working for a company that's making only one title, then you're probably safer than going to a company that is always trying to develop a new title after each release.
Yeah, so that basically depends on the company.
Yes.
Yeah, it depends on the company. If the company is big and is making a really big title, like a Witcher 3 from CD Projekt Red, the Battlefield for DICE, the Call of Duty stuff, there is an important job for the specialists, like quest designer, gameplay designer, weapon designer, battle designer, or yeah, something like that. And even writers, sound designers, and here is the place for being a specialist. But for us, game design generalists, when we have to cover a lot of stuff as a designers, it is not the way to go. If you are working for the indie company, you have to be able to make as much as possible for you. But at the same time, we have our special places in design. We are feeling better in specific places.
Right, that was very informative hearing from the kitchen.
In terms of leadership roles, do you think specialists or generalists are easier?
I would say generals have it easier a bit, but like for a leadership role, like it's really not that important how good you are at a particular skill. It's more important, how good are you and how good of a producer are you, how good of a people communicator are you, how well can you plan your work. So if you can do these like leadership specific skills well, then if you have at least something, if you're not like terrible, then that's great. Okay,
I'm calling it quits. Like if any one of you wants to catch me later, please do. Thank you very much.